She's waiting in. All right, so let's begin. Fire District Board meeting of May 20th. Call this to order. Would you join me in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, all you old people sit down, including me.
That's what I say. Sure.
All right, can we have the roll call, please?
Aldrich. Here. Beckman.
Here.
Fox.
Yes, here.
Verplank.
Here.
Phelps.
Yes.
North.
Here. Okay, and I guess Drew's on her way.
I don't know about Peter, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just talked to Drew, so.
We can always field questions.
Would y'all please turn off your cell phones and don't text during the meeting as it's against the open meeting law. Could I have an approval of the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
Second. There's a motion by Phelps and a second by North to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
All right, moving on, special guest speaker, Carlos.
Yeah, can we skip over that? I don't know.
We're gonna have to.
Carlos, are you here?
And we'll be passing the hat.
Good God. Can we have the approval of the minutes of the April 15th meeting, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April 15th.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? And y'all have read the closed session minutes. Could I have a motion to approve the closed session minutes?
Make a motion to approve the closed session minutes.
Support. Okay, a motion by Phelps, support by Aldrich. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right. All right, moving on. Well, we can't have a financial report because Peter's not here.
We can skip over that one, I think.
I guess we'll have to. All right, moving on. How about the fire chief comment? Is he here?
I am here present.
Are we supposed to pay the bills?
We can't until Pete gets here.
Well, we can approve it, can't we?
If there's no questions, do you want to do that now or just wait?
Well, if he's coming, I guess we can wait.
I'm trying to confirm that right now. But let's go on, we'll jump back.
All right.
I've got to text him soon. While we're waiting for Peter, so moving on, the April incidents, we have another record high. We're up to almost 17% for the month. Shall we say it's crazy times. So big leaps. Other notable would be, as expected, there's some delays with the construction, with the roundabout, with Maple. Not a big deal yet. You can see there's on page 8, if you could scroll that, gentlemen. There's a new slide we've introduced. And the slide, and I'll just kind of summarize it for you. It just shows in April what the times have gone south of Old Allegan Road, have gone from an average of 6:10 to about 8 minutes. And then east of Old Allegan Road from 6:10 average to 7:47. Eric's great work on plotting this. We'll keep doing that until this project is done. My understanding is Saturday and Sunday, they were driving through that Old Allegan Road and Blue Star, and the police were notified. So pretty much that's what's notable out of the incidents. So you don't have this part we're trying to spare you guys all that So up there is where you'll see the response times during the Old Allegan Road Blue Star Highway construction.
Not a real big difference.
No, nothing to get excited about. And I think it'll get better and better as people get used to it. Either that or Maple Street is just gonna deteriorate and we'll have to fly.
Yeah.
Is there any overall standard for what's a good, I mean, good time generally speaking, not necessarily good for us, but
Yeah, depending upon EMS and depending upon if it's a fire call, there's a standard NFPA 1710 that says, okay, the call shall be answered within 90 seconds. You will be out the door within so many minutes, you'll be on scene. Well, problem is that standard is a professional firefighting, is a full-time department standard that ISO holds us to. Well, yep, we have the station staff, but it's pretty unfair to those that don't staff it. So there is criteria for meeting that. For us to average 6 minutes, 10 seconds in our entire district, it's darn good. Real good. So,
I don't think I can get to the south end in 6:10.
Yeah, you go down to that southeast corner, it's gonna take a little longer.
yeah, that's a 12-minute run on a good day, down the southeast corner.
We'll get you some lights and signs.
Yeah, lights and sirens, you get through it quick.
Well, we're thinking about helicopters next, so.
Put it in the budget.
Yeah. Page 11 of your packet, Department of Fire Prevention. I'll just get to that real rapidly. And that will show your typical monthly responses for the Bureau of Fire Prevention. Typically, short-term rentals outnumber anything. You can see 31 rentals that are there, and then 22 hours of fire prevention. That's generally the education over at the elementary school. So on page 12, on the back of that is the Michigan Fire Statistics. There you are, Peter. So unfortunately, 51 deaths out of 49 fires. It's down 3% from last year, 7% increase in fires. So we always look at that as what can we do to get that down to a minimum, so we're relentless in our pursuits. A new slide I thought you would like to see, and this shows on page 13, alarm installs. And this relates to something further on down into this, on carbon monoxide, the next one down on the agenda. So this just shows the quantity of homes the crew has been into. They do statistical data, how many children are in that home, how many adults are over 65. And you can see on there, this is the first slide of its kind that I requested to be composed, and they got it done. And that's from April 23 to 2024. Not all departments install smoke alarms. Chris and I are working on a plan where we can get the battery-operated smoke alarms from My Prevention, a state organization, free. So our focus, our budgetary focus, will be on the line voltage smoke alarms, which are hardwired. You can't take a hardwired smoke detector out and substitute with a battery. That is a no-no, because they're interconnected. So we've been buying those out of our fire prevention budget. Now we have an outlet, they got a grant, $1 million for smoke alarms. We'll be applying for that. So our focus can be on the line voltage. Next on the agenda, on page 14, you'll see a real nice Facebook that Chris showed me, and it essentially is a CO save, where the CO detector, CO detector activated and the furnace had failed. It was only a 6-year-old furnace. This is the type of thing we like to see. It makes it rewarding to see a device that's, you know, very inexpensive save somebody's life. CO is, I am surprised we don't have more injuries or deaths from CO, because it's a very high call volume and we seem to catch it in time. people in our area reach out when they don't work. Typically, it's a failed smoke or CO detector. They have a limited life. So when you go in there and it's 15 years old, they don't work. So we install those as well.
In here, she said if you're a township resident, look into the program, but it's for the cities also.
Correct.
Probably should have been just
Yeah,
a
she offered
letter
this
not-
and...
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, we wanted to snapshot it, not, but thanks to Chris for bringing that up. I said, please put it on the agenda.
What's the criteria for having it installed? What's the criteria for having it installed?
They just apply. They have to be a resident, not a rental, not a business. They just apply, and what we had to do is back off. We'll get some homes with 9 bedrooms, and then one on each floor, so they want 12 alarms. We're not doing that. We'll give them 6, they pay for the rest. So 1 CO on each floor, 1 in each bedroom, each floor level on smoke alarms, up to 6, then they can pay for them. So that's the only thing they have to meet.
That's something we could put on the sign out front too. I bet most people don't.
No one's going by here.
Sure they are, 'cause it's over now.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the website, we could certainly put it on there, do a campaign on that, you
Well,
know.
do we have a Facebook page for this?
And we share it on, it's been on there too, where we share a link to the.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that
I
just
thought it was
respond
fine.
to something like this, say, well, it's available to
And
everyone.
actually, just from her post alone, I think we got 9 or 10 install requests.
Wow.
Because she linked our install page in the bottom of that post too,
Oh,
so.
Awesome.
Yeah, all of a sudden, we had a surge on installations, so address signs got shelved. You know, and True and I experienced what happened there. So, somebody said, why does it take since February to get an address sign installed? Well, it was a number of things, so we straightened it out.
I was told there should be one of those near where the furnace and the hot water heater are.
Mhm.
Primary.
There was a
source.
code where it was required at one time. What the CO installation is, by your bedrooms, by your living area, by your bedrooms. And different codes, like in 2009, there was a smoke detector required in the furnace room. That isn't required now. So you volley back and forth on this. So, kind of notable. Last up but not least is Wendy hosted a CPR class for the Star of Saugatuck in Old Pike Cottages. She had 14 people in attendance. You'll be getting some more. We have 2 more requests, so sharpen up those CPR skills. AED pads, okay? So we're thankful that Wendy does that because it's very intensive. The rest of us don't have the time to do it. Wendy makes the time. No cost recovery updates, we're working on that, the team. We've got some outstanding ones that we're in pursuit of. Next up, grant applications. Chris, you want to touch on this?
So there's currently, my Department of Energy, I can't remember the acronym that actually stands for, to be honest, but it's, every full-time firefighter in the state of Michigan is eligible for up to $3,500 towards a new set of turnout gear. And so we're applying for all 9 to get $3,500 towards, because all full-time staff are actually due for gear this year anyway, so the timing couldn't have been more excellent. So that'll cover about 2/3 the cost of the set of gear, not the full cost, but it's still $31,000 more than what we have to pay out of pocket. So, and it'll be submitted it's due May 31st, and it'll be done later this week. And submitted.
Thanks, Chris.
Mhm.
Just kind of a twist. We don't know what's going to happen with Douglas, but I've got 2 staffing things I have to deal with. July 4th, the actual day of July 4th with the parade. So there's security staffing and parade participation, and then the fireworks on Friday night, which is 4 divisions of people. So you're going to have a bigger payroll because municipalities have decided to do it the 4th and the 5th. Just I'll let you know. Subject that I think Douglas is, you're gonna see. Hi,
Why have they changed? It's always been known to do
Come on in.
4th of July, no matter what day.
They couldn't.
yeah, come on in. I'll explain that. This is our guest speaker, right? And your first name?
I was supposed to deliver this check. Is that
Yes,
correct?
that's great. May we jump to the guest speaker, Sergeant Masonic Lodge?
He's got money,
So, I'm Greg, yeah, you've got the check, you're first, your priority.
All right, I know that I can get right out of your way and
Yeah.
let you get back to it.
So I understand there's a donation on behalf of Saugatuck Masonic Lodge.
Saugatuck Masonic
and representative
Lodge.
of the fire department, $1,500, and we're very thankful for this, and I don't want to speak for the board, but this is our fire board.
All right.
So,
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you very much. Come on up.
Who wants to receive this, and I'll give you the checks, which go to that amount.
No, it's supposed to be Greg Janik.
It's Janik.
Thank you very much, thank you very much.
Here, Greg,
If,
sit out there, I'll take a picture. Yeah, why don't you
If
do the
somebody-
chief?
Somebody wants to be the
do a photo
recipient,
op.
I'll take a picture of us.
Maybe we could go back here, come on around the back, please, and we'll get behind the board. Yeah.
You just take care of it.
What's your first name?
George. George Martell.
Correct.
Nice to meet you. So,
You stay.
maybe if we can, set it.
Yeah, that's good,
somehow.
that's good.
And,
Man,
Take out the lights on, probably. It's too dark over there.
we'll do this.
Peter without a.
Tell us when to grin. And don't make me look fat and bald. I'm gonna listen.
One more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's all right.
I'm gonna give mine also.
Yeah, and I can just send these to you too, if that's easier, whatever you prefer.
Great, thank you.
And,
Great, thank you, Peter. Larry,
George.
George.
Yeah. Don't pay attention to the names on there.
Yeah, look at all the names.
Listen right out to me, I don't know.
Ready?
Thank you.
Oh,
Very good.
More?
Well, that way you get the whole board in there too. Then you can prove you actually came to the meeting.
Thank you, George, very much. We'll send our, thank you, I'll send a card out,
If people are wondering.
and, we will do a media release as well.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Glad we helped a little
Thank
bit.
you.
Maybe we can do it a little more next year, we'll see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
We appreciate it.
And Peter gets the money.
Yeah.
Thanks again, George.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Good? Yeah. All right. How's Dad doing?
Okay, so why aren't they doing the fireworks? Because, I guess originally, correct me if I'm wrong, no one was gonna take it over. By the time they went to schedule it, all the shooting companies were booked.
Makes sense.
So it was a timing situation, and they're all booked for 4th of July, so the only availability was the 5th. So, and apparently Saugatuck City, who's always adhered to the day of, approved it.
What day is the fest on? Is it a Saturday or?
Friday.
A Friday.
But for us, it's 2 holidays.
Yeah.
It changes a lot of dynamics for us, and it's gonna cost,
Mhm.
just so you know, the payroll is gonna.
Okay.
Next up, Comcast agreements, renegotiated, we switched our phone system, which reduced the bill to Comcast for internet and phones. It's pretty much almost a swap because we now have a phone bill with the phone company, but Comcast continued billing us, and that was negotiated by Chris Mantles. We got that knocked down, so we wanted to share that with you. The hydrant inventory, do you guys have that? So, the board last meeting asked us to separate this by municipality, and this is a collaborative effort between Douglas, Chris Bernardi, myself, and who else? Eric, the chief author, Eric. It was pretty intensive. we got all this information, some of it accurate, some of it not accurate, and we had to put this together by municipality. Can you scroll? Go to Saugatuck City. And the bar in the bottom.
Oh, sorry, sir.
That's all right. So anyway, that's what it is. It is by municipality. So that's finally out of the way. Cal Lake Representative Chris Bernardi thanked me. They did not even have this information. But the fire department got it done.
Cal Lake didn't have information?
No, because not everything was shared.
Oddly, they were always right on time with my water bill.
Not everything was shared, so really who led this was Douglas. They wanted to know where their infrastructure was. Imagine that. And there were hydrants on there, maybe what, Eric, 25 to 30 that weren't even listed?
Yeah, there was a bunch of new hydrants in the area there.
So we don't know who's tracking what. Last we knew, hydrants were under our jurisdiction, we just use them. But in absent of anybody taking over, we did this as inspired by Douglas at the request. They said, "Would you help us with this?" And we did it.
With the GPS coordinates, will you geo-map this thing so an arriving truck can just go bang, bang, there they are?
They're on active 911, all flagged, all items are flagged, along with the size and the flow. Eric saw to that, and that was kind of a challenge because originally some of the coordinates were wrong, sizes were wrong. We found a lot of errors because you're getting information from one municipality, another municipality, or a plan review. And Eric took it and made it into a document.
And he did a tremendous job of checking all Douglas hydrants because there was some that was incorrect placement and there was some that we didn't know of, and so he did a very, very thorough job. So we got
Yeah.
all the Douglas in.
High compliments to Leo and Rick's leadership for this, trying to straighten out this hydrant inventory.
How many of them are too short?
About 30, maybe 40. You can't even swing a wrench on them. We've reported them for 20 years. So now they're putting money, and Douglas, they're putting money into their budget to, hey, let's tackle it. I don't want to speak out of turn. I think 5,000, which buys a lot of 12-inch extensions to raise those, and they can unbolt them themselves and do that, raise them. So at least we don't have to take the wrench off every time we make a turn on a cap.
How many meters do we, or
Hydrants,
Fahrenheit?
They make
just
a
under
batch of
600.
600.
Yeah. We gotta buy a drill to get them off.
Yeah.
No, you gotta open the hydrants real slow, right, and you gotta close them real slow. But just to take the cap off the connection for the hose, you can't swing it because they're too low. And that's just in Douglas.
Do we have the other municipalities? I mean, I'd like to get on it if you have that information.
We can get it, we have to go through, township shouldn't be as bad because our infrastructure's newer.
Okay.
And we were more involved in it.
Although the one we like,
Yeah,
that
there's-
is brand
there's
new.
still some bad.
Yeah, and it's like under the
At
ground.
the entrance of your
We don't laugh at it.
daughter's
Yeah.
and-
Have you seen the one, Daniel?
into Daniel Drive.
Oh, Daniel Drive.
Oh,
down
It's
there.
about that high off the
I
ground.
mean,
Yeah.
The top of it might
Yeah.
be there.
That's buried in wintertime, you're right.
it's a bit, yeah.
So we'll make a
I'd
point
like
of doing this, and I know I did it in the city, but I'll do it in the
Because
township.
we know our budget, I mean, we're doing our budget right now, and there's the time if we need to do this. I'd like to add it.
I understand adding the extension to rise it, but isn't there some cases where a shovel and a couple digs would probably be able to swing a wrench down that far,
Yeah,
at
but-
least temporarily?
Yes, and we did that to some of them on the lake shore. They couldn't be fixed because they don't make parts for them anymore. You have to replace the whole hydrant main. It isn't worth it because it's a 4-inch main. Minimum is 8-inch. So that old infrastructure, Leo dug around some of those hydrants, Leo at DPW, dug around them. What you gotta be careful of is, all of a sudden, you're going to a hydrant, oh, there's a hole.
Yeah.
And if the right guy doesn't do it, you're gonna break your ankle. That happened at, Green Coy. They dug around that, and it was a death trap. So this is not gonna work, raise the thing.
Especially in the winter when that snow will pull up the hole
You
and
can't
you're
tell-
still
yeah.
gonna go down.
So we're pretty sensitive about that. Do it the right way to begin with. Somebody paid for this, but the oversight isn't always there.
So is each entity taking care of theirs, their own then? Like, is
We only,
We are.
that took us
Okay.
3 weeks.
What about Sagatuck and the township?
When I can, I'll do it. Yeah, I haven't done it yet.
Oh, you haven't gotten to that?
We have the inventory, but I haven't gone around doing all the assessments on it.
Okay.
Sagatuck City was probably done 7 years ago. They have hydrants that are not breakaway, so you know when you hit it, the water comes up. Those are priority that should be, like right by the playground, Sagatuck City. That's a non-breakaway hydrant. Somebody hits that even with the guard posts that are bent, it's sheared off. The water's gonna flow.
So you're checking them all out, and you're gonna tell each entity what they have to do?
Correct. No, I'm not gonna tell them what to do, I'm gonna say, here's the problem.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I worded that.
Yeah. I don't like being told what to do.
Okay.
There's only so many battles you wanna fight at one
Yeah.
time.
You're gonna show them what's wrong.
Right, but I will. I'll get, the other ones will be easier, I think. Saugatuck, or Douglas has a lot of hydrants that are very old
Yes, yes.
and for some reason, too low. But I expect city and township to be in pretty good shape,
Okay.
so I'll get it done. I
Okay.
just don't know when.
Wanted to get it straight over. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. We were approached by Howland Fire to do a large, grand-scale mutual aid training. Here's a scenario, it's a healthcare facility. No, it's assisted living facility, brand new one on 24th Street. These are the photos. Rest Haven is building this. Chris and I used to work for Rest Haven. This is in Holland's jurisdiction. So this is about 85–90% completed. They invited 7 other fire departments. Here's the scenario. There's a parking garage down below. There's an electric vehicle. You can't put them out. That's not a shelter-in-place facility. You have to evacuate it. How do you get people that are not ambulatory down the stairs? So it's real challenging. Probably 50 people there. I brought a lot of my guys in on their day off. Kyle, Chris, Phil, were you there?
No, sir.
Okay. There were a lot of us there, not just from our department. And we went and participated in this, and it was enormously beneficial to thinking about the amount of people you need to evacuate. There were 20 patients, mock patients in here, actors, with different ailments. One was scared about the fire, was a single person assist. One person was a walker, who was a quadriplegic. And they had to get them down. So do you have stair chairs? Do you have, how are you gonna do it? Because for every patient, that's 2 firefighters. I was on the first floor, and they had somebody come in, rescue, evacuate one of the residents. That was 20 minutes. There was one around the corner in the next room. They didn't get that person. That was another 20 minutes. Meanwhile, they smoked up the basement. The fire doors weren't closed. All that smoke came up, you couldn't see anything on the first floor. And the contractor hosted it along with Rest Haven and paid for the food, paid for everything. Pretty extraordinary.
So the thinking is there would be some majority of people who'd be able to ambulate out of them.
Correct.
But there'd be people who couldn't get out of their room or wouldn't get out of their room.
How are we gonna deal with it? And that building is not staffed. So, and it's not like Douglas Cove, that's a true healthcare facility where you shelter in place, you're not allowed to do this. This is full evacuation. You can't do area of refuge in the stairways, because what stairways are 2 or 3 hour enclosures? They have to go out. What do you do with people when it's 10 degrees out? All that had to be pre-planned, and that was the goal. Not putting out the fire. It was, how are you gonna handle the evacuation? Do you have enough resources? Do you have enough equipment? Where are you gonna take them? All that was pre-planned before we, quote, lit the fire. And it was a pretend fire, but we had a car from Denoyer, electric vehicle. So for me, that's the first 3-story I've ever evacuated, so I really loved it. It's about a 5-hour day for 7 of us, I think. That concludes my chief comments.
All right, can we go back to accounts payable? I'll take a motion to pay the bills. Thank God you're back, Scott.
Yeah, I know, I almost wasn't. I'm making a motion to approve the bills, $119,506.27.
I'll support.
A motion by Self, to support by Becky. I don't know what we do on here. To approve the bills, is there any discussion?
Only thing that jumps out at me is $11,000 for
Combs,
Combs.
that's, I was just looking at that.
Oh.
You know, I
That's a lot of
highlighted
cones, isn't it?
I even called Peter, I said, what do you have on there? 500 cones that say $22.50? I didn't say that part, but I said, 500 cones? Was that what it came up to? And I did it, well, $22.50 a cone, that's what it is, that's for the attenuator truck. And that was built into the grant.
Oh,
Built into the project.
Project.
So it was budgeted for.
When's that truck gonna be ready?
Last I
They
heard, the
changed it.
chassis got delayed, so the chassis won't come off the line till late August or early September, and then it'll take them roughly a month to do the build on top of that. So, fall-ish.
January.
Okay, right.
okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Self,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Ruffing,
Yes.
Foley,
Yes.
North.
Yes. Okay, moving on to the financial report, Peter.
You
weren't ready for this, were you?
No, just trying to get out of town, and I couldn't, I don't know if there was wreck out there, I mean, town was just, you can't even get through town, I mean, it was crazy.
It's May.
Huh?
It's only May.
I don't, you're.
Yeah, it's late.
Okay.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Glad.
Yes.
Mine are two.
Maybe they went to the same today, we got a 9.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better. Okay, so we're through 10 months. So far, we've collected all the revenues from the 3 units, and you can see anything in the parentheses in the far right column are dollar amounts that are over, like the inspection, plan reviews, cost recovery. You can see the grant donation is over quite a bit, the interest in selling the totaled out fire truck back to the insurance company. So our revenues are in great shape. The expenses, I think overall, we're fairly decent shape. We're over budget on professional services, that's basically legal fees, and then we're over a little bit on special events. And equipment maintenance, we're over some. And then on the back page, the only thing we're really over is the long-term capital, which is, it's the purchase and some of the big items on the truck that's, the transport vehicle that's out, that was never really in the budget. So for, this is May, so next month we'll have a budget adjustment to adjust it, and we'll come up to see with the donations we got for the itinerary truck, we'll probably see where we're at for the end of the fiscal year and make a large payment on the chassis of the truck. And like the cones, we paid for that, and I think, Chris, there was something else we get.
Like the sirens.
Yeah, we get some other, the big ticket items for that itinerary truck paid, but I think overall we're in fairly decent shape. There's some things that were budgeted that haven't been spent, so we should roll over a decent amount into the fund balance.
Any questions? Comments? Thank you, Peter. Moving on, we did get the special guest in, and we got so now we're right on schedule with unfinished business. Ambulance Committee 2.0 update.
I think I'm gonna refer this to Eric and Dan. If I may. Will you give an update?
What do we say?
You have the highlight in the photograph. That was about, whatever it was, hour and a half, 2 hours at their central headquarters campus in Grand Rapids. And we were all, I mean, literally blown away by the level of professionalism, the level of interest they have in this. Mark Meyer, who's to the chief's left, who's to the chief's left there in the photograph, owns this company. It's a private company, Michigan-only company. He was with us for the entire meeting and never once showed even a hint of, like, I got other important things to do. He was all about this. And then when we left, we even had the parting gift, that stretcher thing, whatever you call it.
Stretcher.
Parting gift that Chief and Chris loaded up into the back of one of the 2 trucks we took over there and sitting outside here now, free.
What'd you say, about a $20,000 stretcher?
Newer 33,000, that one's slightly used. It's much newer than what we were gonna buy for 8,900 refurbished. So we don't, it's gotta be worth probably 15,000.
We'll have to buy backup battery, correct?
Battery and a charger. We didn't wanna ask them, hey, where's the charger?
Yeah. I think the other thing is it's gonna start June 1, and we've already, made AMR aware, right?
Correct.
They weren't real happy with us, but
And dispatch.
business is business. What impresses me is first-class operation of this, and Mark Meyer, and, he's from the Meyer family. He sure as hell didn't have to work. And he did this from the ground up in 1980, and it is impressive. They work on their own vehicles. I mean, everything is state-of-the-art there. The incoming call center, that was impressive. So, people are gonna be asking why we switched, because they're gonna see these actually, a lot of people won't even say anything. They don't care if the ambulance shows up. But there may be some questions, hey, how come all of a sudden we're seeing these green ambulances instead of the red ones? And I told people that the fee schedule is beneficial to all of us. We expect the response times to be quicker, and they just want to work with us, so part of the reason why we switched.
The thought, I admit to having this prejudice going in when I found out, not just going into that, 2 months ago, when I first heard of, that it was owned by one of the members of the Meyer family, I thought, oh, well, this must be the dumb kid they wouldn't let, do the grocery stores or whatever, so he went out and got this thing for, so their mom bought him this. It is the antithesis of that. He started doing this when he was 18. If you go on their website, you have to kind of look a little bit, but there's on one of the about pages or info pages, there's a picture of him with long hair in his office at the time, which had a card table with whatever communications gear were on, and behind it is a mattress where they slept. It was him and a buddy in 2 trucks, and he got his EMT certificate back then, and he maintains it himself personally to this day. So he comes up on an accident, it's your accident, you'd be glad he did that. So,
and he was one of the first EMS paramedics, is that correct?
Well, way back.
One of the low numbers is licenses, so that's pretty impressive too.
On in the center of that photograph that's up there now where the circle thing is, above that, it was dark in that communications center. But while we were in there and being briefed, one of them was in the midst of a call, and she's going through can you stay on the phone? Is she still breathing? Is she upright, or whatever series of questions? She was prompted, very professional, no hint of things out of control. It was, as I'm saying, I found absolutely nothing wanting. And
I guess on the other thing is, I don't think a lot of people complained about AMR. I mean, we're not gonna throw them under the bus.
Oh, no.
There still will probably have to be here at some point. I talked to Chris about that. They work well with the AMR guys. So it's, you know, it's just a business decision
Correct.
for the better of our community.
We did kind of an exit interview with the supervisor at AMR, and Chris and I were on a conference call, and we kind of explained this was a business decision. We happen to think that there isn't enough here for two agencies, and this provides some continuity from Allegan to Holland, and that AMR was kind of going around Holland Hospital and then coming here. We thought it was a more a viable business decision to have one provider. And I have to mention also, you know, having a background in facilities, I mean, every building you went into, this guy invests in infrastructure and people. I mean, there's fresh fruit everywhere. Everywhere, the signage, everything was very tastefully done. The whole campus it was like you were at Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I've never been there, or Google, seen pictures of it, but you're looking at it, and even the repair shop,
Yeah.
you know, all right, it's got Fords in it, you know, but still, it was such a great, I'm kidding on that, it was such a great facility, and his equipment, he invests in this, and I think for me,
the picture, those two pictures showing trucks, that's two different buildings.
Yeah.
and for me, you know, you can make a phone call and request to talk to Mr. Meyer, he'll talk to him. With the other company, we never really got anywhere. It's a national company, so you've got layers of administration, and we just felt we mattered, we cared. And it
Well,
kind of
they
motivated you.
even said they'd like to be in our parades, be here
Yeah.
for our meeting downstairs with all the municipalities. They're gonna be here, I believe they'll be here Venetian weekend, Halloween parade. They're gonna have a presence and they're committed, what I heard.
They actually want to participate in the parades, which is the first I've heard of that. So it was a really grand experience, and really to walk out of there with a cot, with a stretcher, was just very rewarding. Just tremendous, just tremendous. I can't speak more highly of the encounter, you know.
So Allegan Dispatch will dispatch them?
Switch over.
Mr. Meyer said the only two things we want you to do is you notify AMR, and I was to notify Allegan Central. So I think at 12:01, June 1st, transition will take place. I've notified them. I didn't want to have this released out into the public until AMR was notified. She didn't respond to my email for quite some time, because she's a busy girl. So once they did, I think a media release will go out from Life next week. I think Chris sent a draft of something Dan had prepared anyway, and we'll incorporate that into their language and eventually let people know.
Would it be worth it to bring someone from there to maybe answer more questions if we have all municipalities
So
on June 17th?
they're coming June 17th. They're going to have a truck inside the truck bay along with our transport vehicle. Also, we'll have a representative from Life to be able to speak if requested.
What time are we having that meeting?
Board meeting's at 4, the public hearing's at 5. Do your business at 4, am I correct on that? And then at 5 o'clock, we'll get into, we'll open up the public hearing, you will, and then any questions, we can do a Q&A.
Good work.
Maybe smart to let your people know beforehand if they have any questions. They may want to submit them before the meeting. I mean,
So
they
are
can
we
screen.
okay, are we okay to talk about this like tonight at my meeting?
Yes.
Or we want to hold off?
As far as I'm
But
concerned.
it's on camera now.
Hello.
No, we even heard some of the AMR paramedics have already been notified via the chain. And it really is just a business decision. We have 5 months to evaluate this. The agreement's signed, it terminates for evaluation December 31st, 2024. It was 6 months, but I didn't get the contract in time, so I delayed it. So it's 5 months, ends December 31st, 2024. At that time, you can decide what you want to do. You want to continue or go back the way it was.
Recognizing that the way it was had no signed agreement at all by anybody.
Well, I think you're gonna have to tell us, you and...
We'll provide you
You're gonna
input.
have to tell us whether you like
Something
it or
notable
not.
between now and December, we'll let you know what the pulse is.
And they will also have to make that decision too, and hopefully it's profitable for them. And if it's not, we have to figure out how to make it profitable for them.
Does AMR know it's only like a 6-month thing? Okay, we might, I doubt if it will, but... we may-
In AMR, by mutual aid agreements with EMS, if life isn't available, they're to fill in if they're available. They're overstretched too. So, we've got, we'll have to just see how it works out. I mean, they added a crew onto the north. And then just, okay, we're just gonna do it as, they added a crew to the north. So they'll come in from the north, from Holland area, and then we've got the one in Fenville that'll help out as well.
I asked about Light's roster, and they are perfectly sitting good in their Grand Rapids and surrounding area. They're a little light in the Kalamazoo area, but also the impressive thing is they do their own training and testing, right, Chris? Or certification?
Training.
They're a testing center for the national test.
Yes, so they have a school. I mean, we didn't go through that, but pretty impressive.
Another kind of bonus is, I said, what's going to be, how are we gonna get the reports? I'm always hounding for reports from both agencies. But when I'm gonna get the, I like year-end figures to share with you, or, you know, okay, I get them in May. So, with Mark Meyer's team at the table, I said quarterly, so how about monthly? So that would be even better. So we'll get it monthly. I'm gonna work with Eric, because they'll let us tailor and filter out what data do we want. Matter of fact, they already sent it to me Sunday. So we will get monthly data as far as response times. Some of it is so complex, I want it filtered out, we don't need all that stuff. But something that can be looked at and you can, the reader can see, okay, here's how long it took to get to a priority 1, priority 2 call.
The joint board meeting on the 17th, are you going to send an invitation to all the board members, or is it our responsibility to notify our board?
Well,
or-
we assume you as representatives from municipalities are gonna let your jurisdictions
Right.
know.
Okay,
That's.
yeah, I should do it.
Right.
But they're all getting an individual.
I'll say it tonight if I'm...
I will send an email to all the managers, to the 3 managers.
Asking them to make sure that
Correct.
it's routed to their representative.
Correct. That way, they're responsible for distributing, I don't have to.
And
do-
that'll be 5 o'clock after our board meeting. Okay. I'm just going to send them home.
Okay, moving on to special event committee update.
Shoot your...
Okay, we met, not for very long, and then I met with the chief. What we suggested was that 5 or 6 of the events, like 4th of July parade, the fireworks, that we would not charge for. There's a few more. Then we suggested that the chief come up with a certain amount and charge everybody the same thing, not charge this one that or that one this. So it's up to him to come up with that amount if he agrees with our suggestions. That was about it.
Just do the national holidays and
Right, no charge for the national holiday.
no charge for the national
Right.
holidays.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll come up with a draft, send it to the committee to review it, and then in June we can bring it.
Come up with some kind of a fee schedule or something.
My suggestion is to avoid any, that whatever fee schedule you come up with, you implement it next year. Because people haven't had time to plan
Right,
on,
don't worry about
oh,
it.
all of a sudden I gotta pay
Don't worry about
$4,000.
it.
I think that would be
I think that'd be
thing
great.
to do.
Especially if they're special events tomorrow.
Okay, Performance Review Committee. Kathy?
That's me. Dan, I don't know, I can't get it out of my iPad, but I will check when I will go home. So if you haven't sent your evaluation, please do that in the next ASAP, so I can get it to Jane and we can have a review with the chief.
All right, moving on.
Can I say something about that? You probably don't wanna do that next month.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that.
Hey, everyone, leave. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So, we might ought to put that on the following agenda.
Yeah, so I'll start.
Good point.
That's all right, we do.
Okay, moving on to new business fiscal year 24-25 requested budget.
Okay, you can see, so this is what we're requested here. You can see the revenues, we kept the millage rate still at 2.5 millage. You can see the Saugatuck City, the far off, we're talking about the column on the far right. So, yeah, the far right column, which would be the budget starting July 1st. You can see Saugatuck City, the township, and Douglas make up the majority of the income out of $2,369,000. That they probably make up 99% of it. Fire services, inspection, plan review, cost recovery, we keep those at minimum because none of those are guaranteed incomes to run the department. Just the basically the millages is what funds the majority of this department. The rest of it is extra, and over the years we've done well with it, but you don't know, it's not guaranteed. So that's the revenue side. We go to the next slide, which is basically all the line item expenses that are carried over, just like what we have in the monthly revenue and expenses. So you can see the far column, the right, the board salary, the chief's salary, officers, the career full-time people, the operational wage, all the wages are in the beginning, and then benefit expenses, and then we get down to like the operating expenses. I think everything, it's up some, but it's not up, drastically. There's nothing really that's really bounced up this year compared to last year with the.
Peter,
with the
did you
higher.
increase anything more than something else, or do we keep it all kind of based on what we've done in the past?
Basically what the history is in the past. Last year we had put in the budget to hire 3 full-time people, and really they never started until after the first year, so we're going to have a carryover of wages for this current year. But I think we've kind of kept that.
There are very few things, I think we raised the
5%.
truck
Yeah,
maintenance
maybe.
because we have another truck and we don't know what we're gonna do with 2112, so I think we jumped that up a bit, but everything was, 3 to 5%. I think wages, we took 7% based on the performance review, 3, 5, or 7.
The phones ought to be a little bit less now, right? Or
Well,
is it just
about a
in a
wash.
different,
It's different.
not overall, you don't have to,
Well-
yeah.
The professional services, we gotta stop paying these lawyers.
Yeah, I thought because he
Killing us,
renegotiated so low, yeah,
You don't know.
yeah.
You don't know what it is to pay low. Okay,
Is there gonna be for the 17th meeting, is there gonna be some kind of, whatever, budget overview from either from Peter or from whomever? It just, as I say.
Yeah, we'll have that whole
20,000
package
foot
together,
look
yeah.
or something.
We can do whatever needs to be
Usually,
done.
Eric's already started working on it, I've started working on it, we usually do a 5 to 6 page portfolio for you
Yeah.
and for the public, and usually it's a combination of Peter, myself, and whomever weigh in on it, present it, what's notable. You know, we'll be addressing the attenuator truck, we'll put that in there, we'll put the, transport truck in there, we'll do a slide on that, and show what's changed from before and what we have now as far as, services. I have, BLS, that whole situation in there. We'll have, here's another interesting thing, building permits from 2022 to 2024. Be nice to know. Doesn't that promote more demands on the plan review people, inspections? All of our, municipalities that has demands. Cities built out, however, they're always replacing. Now they're gonna do waterfront construction. So I have a list of things, and I'll have to devote a page to that. One of them is building permits, percentage of increase.
Might wanna have a page overview on the life EMS deal, because I've at several meetings have tried with the Saugatuck City Council, but I'm not confident they all understand the distinction between those two services and who's doing what and why. I mean, it doesn't have to be a huge presentation, particularly if the ambulance is gonna be sitting down there, they're gonna wanna.
I mean, in a way, you want a seamless transition in services and transport services. We just didn't focus on the rate difference, but at all. What we focused on was, we think this is best for our communities, and that's what the fire district is always going to do.
But sometimes you need to look at those types of things in a layman's term, like, why did the fire department do that?
Right.
I mean, we know why you did it. There's a few things like that.
Well, and we've said all along, or all the way through this exercise on ambulance service, at the beginning of this, and probably still now, including people probably who will be in that room, think that service is run by us, and that there are, the ambulances come out of here somehow, or whatever. I mean, I think, to your point, you gotta start at kind of a base level of knowledge, like first grade level of knowledge, to make sure everybody gets to where they need to get to.
Just like the attenuator truck.
Same
They're gonna
deal.
say, why in the hell does the fire department need something that's on the highway? And I think from a layman's, just snapshot there, how many deaths that happen on the common sense things, why we need it, and what kind of grant or donations we got to pay for it.
Well, it's the second highest response we have other than medicals, is more than fires. I've got $2.8 million of equipment in fire, but I don't have, I got $12,000 in cones.
Yeah.
So
Don't say
to me,
that.
yeah. So to me, it's the data that shows and the experience that shows this is a justified expense, and that's my job to share with you. And that's why I think the attenuator was just a transition. We weren't the ones that made the decision to be traffic control people. We inherited that because nobody would do it. So.
And that all those calls on the highway, you get nothing. From
No revenue.
No revenue from the federal government or state government, county government, anybody.
Is that normal for everybody? I mean, you don't get anything from
Yes.
the state if you do something on the highway that the state, nobody, or no entity did it.
The only agency I know that was the recipient of any funding from MDOT was in Kent County, where they gave them some equipment because they were manning the S-curve.
Oh, yeah.
That was the only thing, because they were out there and they had no equipment, so they gave them arrow boards and dump trucks and stuff, but they're city run. They could transition a truck to there with paperwork.
Okay.
So basically, it's a, if you go, sheet, it's a balanced budget, revenues that meet the expenses, and so, I don't know if anybody wants to change numbers or do something. I guess now is the time, if somebody thinks something's out of line, and then basically we need a motion passed so we can have a public hearing on the meeting, which is the 17th of June.
Okay, so I'll take a motion It's on page 22 of your packet.
I'll make a motion to schedule the 24-25 fiscal year budget hearing for June 17th, 2024, 5 p.m. in Sutherland Township Fire District Station. Authorize fire district staff to publish notices of meeting on behalf of the fire board secretary.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion by Phillips and a second by Pullen. Is there any discussion? More discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving on, correspondence. There's correspondence from the Tom Main family and also for an EMS rescue response in your packet.
May I just refer to 12C? For no, so the collective bargaining agreements,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay. We're jumping around on this, so.
Yeah.
Collective bargaining agreements, expires the end of June. The unfortunate thing is, we are dramatically over budget on lawyer, so he is holding April bills. I don't know if that helps, because that just damages my budget next, in July. So he's holding April, and we're already, I think, $8,000 over. And, we had to have money for the EMS proposal, so that's why he held that bill. But I have not been able to do anything to CBA, because I don't want to go further in debt than I already am on some things. So I frankly, what do you want me to do? Because I have to review this, and the lawyer's gonna have to review it. And there is frankly no money in the professional fund, because the labor issue wipes it out.
Is
Can
this
we-
a new agreement, collective bargaining agreement? I'm confused.
It expires June 30th, so we would conceivably have a new one, yes, because they have changes they're gonna want, we have changes we're going to have to do. And they gave me a notice of a letter of intent to do it, and I would not respond to it because I have no money for legal review. I had a conference call with the two attorneys. They didn't charge me for it because I'm not going into debt unless you tell me to.
Is there any line items that were not used?
Well, we'll just have to do a budget, because the auditors are
Right.
gonna say, once they see the bills are dated, because have to be recorded when the service was rendered, so just because if you wait till August to send us the bills, it's not, they're gonna, the auditors are gonna say they go back into this current fiscal year, so
He
we have
just
to-
did it because, yeah, he just did it because he offered it because we're
So you have to find the money
we've got a lot of
for it
truck
now.
charges.
So
I'm
you're
sure we
gonna
got
work out
somewhere.
finding the
Yeah.
money?
Yeah, we'll have to figure out, get an idea what,
Yeah, the only way to do that is
Yeah.
Peter and I sit down, because there's a lot of trucks repairs that are coming up, and we even held off on some of the annual stuff. But I'm not going further in for one thing unless the board directs me to, whether it's trucks or whether it's this.
Okay, can we probably think we can find the money for this? Or we
well, I'm
can-
sure we're gonna have to have a budget adjustment, because there's
Right.
excess revenues there, we're gonna go through, it once we get all, start getting the rest of the bills in, I mean, we're just, because the auditors, if we don't do it now, when the auditors, then they're gonna ding you when we get the
Yeah,
audit
exactly,
here in
exactly.
November, December, because they're gonna say, they're gonna look at those bills, and they look at the, that,
Yeah,
when was the service, it's not when you paid, it's when the service was provided, so,
That has to be taken care of.
yeah. So, I mean, we'll have to come up, ask Jeff, some kind of idea, that it's gonna be $5 more grand, $10 more grand, or, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the only thing we could do is a not to exceed number, otherwise it's just gonna get out of control.
I don't-
Well, if we know we're going to find the money to proceed with this collective bargaining agreement, should we just go ahead and give the chief permission to continue with it?
Yeah, I mean, I plan to do the review. What I need guidance on is you're gonna have to have legal review, because
Right.
they may not agree with what I agree with, and I may not agree with what legal agrees with.
Okay.
It's gonna be up to you,
It has to be done.
because the board is the one in charge. And you gotta decide how much you wanna spend on this.
Well, I
I
think we...
just tell you from experience, that's what is gonna have to happen.
I think we need a legal review of it, we need to
Yeah,
do it.
we're gonna have to have a legal
so-
review.
And Peter's indicated we can find the money for it.
But we don't even know how much money it is, Drew.
Well,
We don't even know what it's gonna be.
we gotta find some ballpark figure of how much
Right.
it's gonna be.
Yeah, because we need to know where we're gonna find it.
Yeah.
Some different line
You gotta
item
get some
and
kind of idea. Well, you should
adjustment.
have the April bill already, we held that, figure out where we're at, I mean, yeah, we gotta, for some, I guess, what did he, ask them if they can tell us what they charged us back 3 years ago?
But remember, they didn't write it.
Oh, they didn't write, but they did review it, didn't
They
they?
reviewed it. The reason we did that is 10,000 versus 30,000.
Okay.
And what we did is we took a template from another area that was supplied, and we incorporated the handbook into what we already had, and then we used what wasn't in there, and then we refined it. So I wrote the draft along with the union, and the lawyer did some changes, and the grant, the Corps did some changes. We purposely kept it at bay, so we didn't have a $30,000 bill for 5 people. It wasn't, nobody was interested in spending that, because we had said, this is not gonna cost any money. So what I can do is talk to the attorney, try to see if I can get a not to exceed number, or try to get an idea based on a 8-person union, what is this gonna cost?
A lot more than it
That, to me, that would be, going into it with writing blank checks is not what I'd recommend.
Well, I think the not to exceed from the attorney is a good idea, and then you know what you've got to work with and what we can do. Does that sound all right with everybody?
So what I'm understanding is, work with the attorneys and see what we're gonna do as far as to determine it not to exceed price. Is that fair?
Correct.
I would think they'd have some kind of rough idea, or I'm sure they have union contracts to review them.
I've asked that.
Yeah.
They've never dealt with anyone this small. So that's kind of the unforeseen consequences of what happened with essentially one employee. We can't go through that again. I'm not gonna go through it again. And I don't know that you are, but I'm not going through it again. It was a lot of money.
Okay, so you're gonna find out not to exceed how much it's gonna cost to do this collective bargaining agreement.
To review it.
To review, oh.
And that's all subject to whatever
They come up with.
they come up with, because they may not agree with it.
Yeah, I
And then,
understand that, yeah.
right now, if we don't have it done July 1st, it just rolls over per their contract. But we prorate the things we haven't agreed on.
How, do you
Expenses,
think we'll
like the
have
wages.
a lot of
and things.
differences, or do you think we'll be agreeing mostly?
I think there's some clarity on what expectations are. We're not going to do this anymore. We're not tolerating insubordination, we're not tolerating, they know that. I'm not speaking for them, but I'm telling them, they know that. I'm not gonna have a department that somebody's insubordinate and then pay to defend it. I'm not gonna have somebody who lies and pay to defend that. You got the wrong chief. Not doing it.
We don't-
And they know that. But a lot is up to them. Some of it's gonna be up to me and legal review and you. They already know how the position of,
All right, well, go for it.
But aren't we-
The negotiation shouldn't necessarily have a rising legal cost. I mean, we shouldn't have to go to legal, they shouldn't be a partner in the negotiation, really, because that's how you run the clock.
that's what I thought for ours, that there are a lot of them that do that.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Their union attorney and our attorney, and you're not gonna have enough, $30,000, you're not gonna have enough money, you won't even get out of August. Because all of a sudden, it's, only lawyers can talk to attorneys. So then all of a sudden you're ramped up, that's what I wanted to avoid. And lawyers are just opinions.
Right.
They're gonna say what they want based on what they do in Caledonia or Grand Rapids. That's not what we do here.
That's how you get to a $500,000 annual legal budget in certain jurisdictions.
But we just can't sustain that.
So, if I'm not wrong, I think we need some clarity in the contract. If some of the stuff that was in the contract wasn't clear.
Right.
Hopefully, we'll get those issues ironed out before it goes to legal. There was lots of fuzzy places in the contract.
Yeah, for example, paying somebody who was terminated. That ain't gonna happen anymore. They know that. They were paid 3.5 months before they were officially terminated.
I understand all that. And
Yeah.
we can't we need to come up with a contract that works for us. It sounds like that's what you're looking at, Chris. And all that clarity can be ironed out. You know where the deficiencies are in the contract. And hopefully we won't go through this again. And it was a learning experience for everybody. It wasn't a very expensive learning experience, and hopefully it won't happen again, but we have to have a contract. So, I mean, it costs what it costs, and we'll try to keep, I would hope everybody would try to keep the spending level down, and that the attorney's opinion would be the last thing that we do, not the first. And we come to some kind of an agreement. I think everybody learned a lot of things that they didn't know, including the union. So hopefully this will all go well, and we'll get this all straightened out. We'll keep your blood pressure down and see what we can do with this. I mean, I'm not trying to be light about it, but there's got to be a place where we come to an agreement with this contract. If this contract is going to exist, it's going to exist, and we have nothing to say about that. So hopefully we can land someplace where it isn't that expensive. And I think that the departments working on it, that are members of the department that are involved in it, are working on it. So let's see what we can iron out before we get to the attorneys. So it'll cost what it costs. I don't know what else to say. We have to do this.
We have to do it, yes.
So hopefully we'll land someplace good.
But hopefully we get to a spot where it's a little easier in the future. You know
Right.
what I mean? We gotta pull the Band-Aid off and get it,
Right,
a framework done.
yes. And
And
I think everybody learned a lot of things,
Yeah.
so unfortunately it had to get really nasty before it got better, and hopefully it's better. So, I don't know what we can do other than agree to pay whatever it costs. Okay. All right, moving on. We have 2 thank yous in correspondence. And, we didn't have, when we were busy playing around with the agenda, we never did have public comment. Is there any public comment?
I'll probably just concur on behalf of the union that I think it's our intent to do the same thing, that we believe we can negotiate it between the chief and us on the local level first, and we don't intend on sending it to our attorney until we both come to terms of an agreement, because, and I would think the fire district would be the same, there's no point in wasting lawyer dollars on either side until we're all happy with it, and as well, I think we all learned a lot too, that we took a blanket document we were handed by someone else, and we learned a lot of things that we can amend to make it better for both of us here, so we're looking forward to working together to make that happen.
Because as you looked at that agreement, you go, well, what's the answer to this?
Yep.
And there wasn't.
Yep.
So,
Unfortunate learning curve for all of us.
The lawyers help write that too.
Yeah.
right. I understand that, and I think we can come to a lot of discussion and agreement before we ever get to the lawyers.
That's
I think you can.
what it should be between myself and the union, and
Leave the lawyer.
they already know
Yep.
what I expect.
Yep.
Okay. Any other public comments? Fire board comments? Stacy?
Nothing.
Eric?
Did you want to go through the correspondence before comments?
Madam Chair, may I be excused? I have to go.
Why?
Okay, do you have a comment before you go? Other than I gotta go.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, Jeff.
I'll go over City Hall one day. Okay, all right, good enough. Thank you.
I have a couple comments, but I noticed that the correspondence was before the fire district.
Oh, I just thought you recognized it was correspondence.
Oh, okay. Two things I have, Chris and I talked on the way back from Grand Rapids. Is it possible to move this meeting to the township office for ADA accessible and
I'd be thrilled.
Taru coming up the steps? I think
We tried it there once before and it didn't work very well. They don't accommodate this large a board very well.
But we have a new office. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's here too.
we did it before with,
Okay,
and we never have audience.
I'd have to check with the township to see if it's available.
Well,
or-
Chris's concern was the AB, all that.
I just need to make sure we can interface to their equipment to be able to do our YouTube videos and stuff, which I'm sure we probably can. It's just a matter of, do we have what we need, or do we need something else? And I was gonna check with Daniel and see if I can go over there and look at it later this week, after Eric and I talk, just to at least know what the options might be.
I mean, we used to do it over there, and then we got a new board over there, and they kicked us out, so to speak, so we came here. And it's just convenient parking, now ADA accessible,
It's-
ramps, everything.
It's a
we need.
fantastic facility,
Yeah,
especially for the board, the way that the table is built. So it's.
well, if they have the space to accommodate us. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I know the last
And-
time we tried, it was,
I don't think they have meetings on the third Monday of,
I don't think.
they never used to,
No.
and we have,
So you use the big room, but.
Yeah.
and we have 4 township residents right here on the
Right,
board,
yeah.
right? You're not, yeah, you still are.
So I'm still a township for now.
You are, so, it's just, if we can. The other thing, I've had a couple people ask me, and I've seen it on I travel a lot for work, and on the bottom of my hotel bills, there's a city tax, county tax, convention tax, tax. Why can't we do that for rentals?
I think they're working on that.
we do.
Yeah. I think
For
they-
the assessment for us?
Oh,
Because, we have 8,000 people, I'm exaggerating, in the area, and we have a fire department to cover those 8,000, whatever number of houses we have. All of a sudden, we balloon into 30,000 on a holiday weekend, and we're understaffed. And why should the local residents that live here year-round suffer because someone else is making money on a rental with 12 people in it? I mean, I'm just passing this along from a couple other people that know I'm on the board, saying, why in the hell are we doing this?
are you talking about short-term rentals, or are you talking about?
Any rental. They go to your B&B. There should be a little tax on the bottom for the fire district. No one wants to pay more taxes, but I'm sorry, I don't even look at it when I'm getting my bill at a hotel.
Hotel tax.
I'm not gonna not go somewhere because they charge me $1.50 something a night in Detroit for the stadium that I didn't use.
Can we check and see if any of the surrounding entities that have fire departments to do this?
I mean, it might take an act of Congress, so if that's the case, then
Yeah,
we'll leave
no.
well enough alone.
I think one thing that's distinguishable is, if we were city-run, I think the city could do it. We're not, but there might be a way I believe under Public Act 33, you can charge for services. Just like you charge for rental inspections.
Which probably should triple or quadruple,
It's
in
a
my
tax.
opinion.
Yeah, well, we we raised it, and everybody's charging a whole lot more than what we are.
You can only raise it to the actual cost.
Yeah,
You
and I
can't
think-
arbitrarily say, well, it'll be $1,000.
It's our true cost by
By law, it
calculation.
has to be,
All of a sudden, then you have.
and that's all the cities can do too,
Well,
supposedly.
we can be creative.
So I could find out, if you direct me to, I could find out via, this is an attorney thing, how we could charge for, impose a tax and impose that on rentals, I guess.
Well, maybe you could check with the other entities who've done it, see how they do it.
Yeah, I can start with asking South Haven, some of those
Yeah,
that have it, Lake Town.
Yeah.
South Haven city run, oh, wait, no, they're an authority. They're an authority, right?
That's right, they're an authority. I don't think you can do that in Michigan. I know there's a bill right now that Joey Anderson was trying to make a 6% like use tax and trying to get it to filter back to the local units, but there's only so many, like Kent County now just has, they're building this $20 million or $50 million stadium, and it's going to, who's going to pay for it? The people that come to town to rent a hotel. And there's always, in the state constitution, there's only so many counties, and you gotta have so big of a population, and they had to pass some bill, I thought it was in the May election, about if this was, or something at the state level, had to add Kent County into this elite group of counties. It's probably like Wayne County and Ingham County, or,
Yeah.
you know, big population,
Yeah.
big county, big stadium, big things there. A lot of it, you know, Michigan, when it comes to raising taxes like that, there's a lot of handcuffs around here, state constitutional, who has the authority to raise these taxes, and even if it would go, I don't think the people could vote for it, you know. But there is a bill pending, I don't know if it's getting any traction in Lansing, about adding, was it a 6% use tax to all the short-term rentals? And it would all go to Lansing, and whatever the formula, something would
Well,
filter
there's
back
already a
locally.
5% use tax.
But that's for the CVB.
No, there's, oh, you're right, there's a
That's a-
6% use tax.
They wanna make that 12% now.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
They wanna add, the 6% is just like your 6% sales tax, but they call it use tax on a rental. Now, the way I take it, they wanna take that and go from 6 to, and all that money really just goes to the state and wherever, then they wanna add another 6% level that would filter back to, I don't know, the local area, the county, or wherever, but.
Yeah, because we're the ones that, or this department's the ones that have to go deal with this stuff.
Well,
People falling down, extra people.
The trouble, I mean, there's a lot of trouble with it. It'd be like trying to charge Illinois residents for a surcharge for using the interstates up here, and people go, well,
like they do us.
Yeah.
well, I pay every time I'm in Chicago, I've been in the toll road, yeah, but.
They do. Okay, could you work on that in the next couple of months, Chief?
Yep, I'll start with calling the neighboring.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
We got a lot of
How-
other things
yeah, how
on the
we get-
table, but
I
it's
could-
just something to put in the back of your
Right, yeah, something we can work on.
I'm wondering if you might have better luck rather than a tax, which immediately causes hackles to
Right.
go up in every possible direction, and lawyers to come at you, because they love doing it. If there isn't an equivalent to the cost recovery on the highway, accident or whatever, if the call originates from a rental facility, we could enact, I think we could probably enact, not unlike our special events thing, a cost, a surcharge for rental response, for a response to a seasonal rental, emergency response, whatever it was,
Okay.
fire, whatever.
Jane, you have to pay the city to run your B&B, I don't know if I'm wording this properly, get a license or something like that?
No.
No?
We pay 5% to the CVB, and we pay another 6% in use tax. In the 35 years I've been in business, in the B&B business, I think I've had maybe 4 calls to the fire department. So I should have another tax on me. I like using cost recovery much better than.
Yeah, but you're just gonna pass it along to the consumer
Well,
anyway.
that's great, but you can only charge so much for a room, and when they add up the bill, and more people, never used to have people ask me how much the taxes were. Now almost everybody asks what taxes
Really?
are. And they're big, they're,
Oh, and there's Saugatuck's, Saugatuck's short-term rental task force, and they're not finished. They already have addressed fees, and as a consequence, the battle's getting joined between a lot of very powerful people with a lot of money who own multiple short-term rentals or whatever. So there's, I don't mean to say that makes their side right and another side wrong, but it does let you know, bitch about legal fees. This kind of area is the kind of area that's gonna be just a legal nightmare.
it is, I've been in the business a
What-
long time,
what do you
all I
get-
want is out.
What do you get for the CVB money?
Advertising and marketing.
Supposedly
Seriously.
advertising, nothing.
Nothing.
I don't think so.
And I don't know how they can get away with.
Nothing.
Yeah, you paying it.
Look how disorganized everything is. Right now, fireworks is being led by the CED. I was led to understand today, and it's a huge mess. So,
Just like it was-
Well, your cost recovery idea probably is a cleaner
I
way to do it.
think it's the more doable.
Yeah.
I mean, you could actually.
Quicker, yeah.
You could actually implement it, you could actually justify it, we've got experience from the insurance, so it's not without its precedent. And, my guess is, done another way, or trying to do it up front or with taxes, whatever, you mobilize all the anxiety and all the defense from the other side. This, I think, stands less of a chance of that, because you'd only be dealing with it
Individual
case by case,
yeah. Yep.
your short-term rental is properly inspected, and you've got all the stuff in there, your odds of ever encountering this, James, 5 and 35 years, not very high,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about it.
Slim. Yeah, but if you don't do
Right,
everything.
you overload the thing, you don't vet your renters, so you get, 18-year-olds coming in for beer parties and bongs and all the rest of it, yeah, you might get a call that's gonna cost you $10,000.
Yeah. I don't know, I've had more than one people say, we're paying a lot in taxes, and we can't even have people that teach and firefighters live here anymore because it's all rentals. It's disgusting, really.
I'm afraid that ship sailed 15
Oh.
years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
and I tried hard to step.
Did you
No,
see
I
my
can say
driveway
no.
last week at my house?
Yeah, my mother-in-law called me.
Good.
I'm not a fireman, I'm not a cop,
I know how
call
much
someone
that
else.
sleeps, and it didn't sleep those cars, I'll tell you that.
And they have a pool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you still get resistance on, why 12? Why 16? Because I have enough rooms around 16 people. So that makes it better, and it's an argument.
Well, the whole thing is ridiculous.
Well, even.
So if there's a noisy party next door and you call and the cops come and it isn't noisy anymore, you pay. Yeah, there's a fine.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
You go outside and record it.
Yeah, and how do you do that? I mean, it's all so... Time to go. So anyway.
And you don't just mean the end of the meeting, I know.
That's right. Absolutely. Lived here 45 years. Okay, Trudy? Got it? All right. Somebody make a
I have
motion.
something to say. I hope that EMS has nicer personnel. Both my times in the ambulance going to Holland, two people there were not very nice.
Oh.
They will wanna know
Yeah.
that. Mark Meyer will wanna know that. I'm positive.
Okay, if that, I should, hopefully I won't have to ever use it again, but if I do, I'll let them know.
And you can judge a lot, I think, not just by that individual, Mark Meyer, but we had, whatever, 4 or 5 of their people there, to a person. It was all
Yeah.
about what do you need from the data, we'll make our adjustments, we'll get it to you. Each one of them genuinely nice person, Katie, whatever, begging for feedback. We need the feedback, we want to know.
I would definitely give them feedback, don't worry, if I can do it, I would. Yeah. I hope they don't have to do it again, but.
I mean, anybody can blow smoke and mirrors,
Yeah, proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
but, I mean,
Do what
the
they actually.
people who were there are not pushover people who are starry-eyed about service agreements and the rest of it, and everybody was impressed. I mean, all of us were impressed. This is our second look at some of their resources, Hudsonville being the first. Same deal over there, same old deal. I drove by the AMR facility when it's coming out of Walmart today.
I'm sorry.
Believe me. Take a look, drive by there. Take a
Oh, I
look.
know.
Doesn't look like the same level of operation. You can tell a lot by
Now,
way.
where are they located, where is AMR located?
It doesn't, in a sense, it doesn't make any difference, because the way,
Well, I'm just curious myself.
but the way they operate, the ambulances are out there. They're based on predicted demand, based on
Hot zones.
historical demand and whatever, and they move ambulances in advance. And one guy was talking about the Portage tornado, and he was out having dinner, and comes out, or at the bar or whatever, comes up on the screen, you know, tornado on the ground in Portage, boom, gone.
25 units going down there and they didn't call them. They
Yeah,
just
I
were
read
prepared.
that.
And didn't actually need them.
Right. They are in Hudsonville and downtown Grand Rapids is their
But
facility.
that place that
But
you
they will
went
be
to-
everywhere,
Where you went to,
Grand Rapids.
okay.
And AMR's got a huge facility in Grand Rapids.
The one you drove by,
No, that's in Holland.
That's AMR, and it's in
The
Howell.
substation.
AMR substation
The
house.
similar operation on EMS is the one, or Life is the one in Hudson.
AMR is a national company.
So when we call and the new one comes, are they coming from Grand Rapids?
They're coming from,
Howell or Hudson?
They could be coming from
They could be
downtown Saugatuck.
right,
Okay, oh,
They're just out, right, they're out and about.
okay, okay.
Probably the most impressive thing I saw is they, you know, everyone talks about AI, but how they move their ambulances around is based on previous data. So if there's rush hour on 131, the ambulance start to go that way. Or if it's Venetian night at some point, will be in the database, and they'll come this way. And they call them hot zones, and then on the screen, they showed us there's red, and there's yellow, and there's green, so the hot zone is where the ambulance is headed. So it is real impressive.
Thank you.
Now, he did tell us AMR just implemented the same system about 2 months ago, so they're catching up.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Do we have a motion to adjourn, please?
Sure.
I
Make a
second.
motion.
I can second.
Motion by Phelps and second by Kennedy, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yeah,
All right.
making money.